knowledgeable staff will see you through the entire process, from selecting the right product to experience, delivery, and installation. It's no wonder that Kelly Appliance is consistently awarded for their service and expertise. Visit Kelly Appliance at one of their 2 convenient locations in Martinez and Aiken.
The most watched station in the CSRA, News Channel 6. Red Headlines on News Channel 6, brought to you by Jamie Casino Injury Attorneys.
We are tracking Tropical Storm Idalia that is now formed down in the Caribbean Sea, moving up into the Gulf of Mexico and could be impacting the CSRA. I'll have the breakdown of the impacts on that Tuesday and Wednesday as we have Viper 6 Alert Days coming up.
Right now on News Channel 6 at 6, a man found dead in Clarks Hill Lake. The circumstances surrounding this discovery and an identity. Plus, hundreds race to the finish line in a cycling championship. And what one Richmond County judicial leader woke up to this morning. Your news at 6 starts right now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 6.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Renetta Dubose. Thanks so much for joining us for News Channel 6 at 6. Tropical Storm Idalia formed in the Gulf of Mexico, and as of now, it looks like the CSRA will be impacted. Let's get right to meteorologist Jenna Petracci with a quick look at your forecast on this stormy evening. Jenna.
Yes, Renetta, it's definitely possible we could see impacts from Tropical Storm Idalia starting late Tuesday night, continuing into Wednesday. But in the meantime, just a hot day with a few pop-up storms. We had some severe thunderstorm warnings earlier. Now those are just out towards the west of us with some weak thunderstorms here around town. Up around Lincolnton, McCormick, right along Clarks Hill Lake, we have some very light rain. Some heavier downpours over in Saluda County with an aerial flood advisory just outside of Saluda County, and further down towards the south in Burke County, peppered about a few showers and thunderstorms as well. Now on our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam in Waynesboro, you can see that rain out in the distance now. Some storms headed in that direction. Now the good news is that the rain has cooled us down a bit. We were in the upper 90s, around 100 degrees even in some spots over the past couple of days. But in locations that have dealt with the rain today, we're seeing temperatures around 10 to even 16 degrees cooler. Notice we're sitting at 81 in Augusta, 87 in Aiken, upper 70s from Lincolnton down into Sandersville. However, the heat index is still very high in our southern counties, 102 in Barnwell, 100 in Swainsboro, and feeling like 104 in Bamberg. So the heat advisory does go until 8 p.m. this evening. Also very breezy outside with some of those thunderstorms. Winds are picking up, 12 miles per hour in Sparta, 16 in Gibson. We can't rule out the possibility of another strong to severe storm the rest of this evening. And for our Monday, all due to this stationary front across the CSRA, bringing a lot of moisture all across the 2-state. But what our main focus is on is definitely Tropical Storm Idalia, now in the Caribbean Sea, entering the Gulf of Mexico, and will be making landfall in Florida within the next couple of days. We also still have Hurricane Franklin out to sea as well as a Category 2. So right now, Idalia is just at 40-mile-per-hour winds. It is a weak tropical storm, but it's expected to become a strong hurricane starting around Monday and continuing into Tuesday and Wednesday. Viper 6 Alert Day for us in the CSRA Tuesday and Wednesday. Idalia impacts are possible but not guaranteed. But we do know that once Idalia passes by, we will have a great Labor Day weekend. So I'll have all those details coming up. But back to you, Renetta.
All right, Jenna, thanks. Well, coverage we can count on continues with a man found in Clarks Hill Lake this morning. McDuffie County Coroner Paul Johnson says the man was found at Russell Landing at Big Heart Campground just after 11:30. He was found floating near the dock at a boat ramp in the water. Johnson says the man is 92-year-old Michael Allen Cole from Warrenton. We will continue to follow this developing story. A teenager died after a shooting in Rennes. The incident happened early Saturday morning on Washington Street. Authorities found 19-year-old Kia Shields shot. She later died at the hospital. The GBI is investigating, but anyone with any information should contact authorities. North Augusta Public Safety put a man in jail connected to a stolen vehicle and 2 armed robberies across the 2-state. An incident report says around 10 o'clock Saturday morning, they found a stolen Ford Bronco on Georgia Avenue near East Buena Vista. After investigating, they learned the truck was involved in 2 armed robberies near Savannah, Georgia, And in South Carolina, just before 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, public safety saw a suspicious man walking on Georgia Avenue near Medlin Road. And after a short chase, police arrested 43-year-old Jeremiah Sherrouse of Pooler, Georgia. He was taken to the Aiken County Detention Center. Well, Richmond County Sheriff's Office responded to a crash in Augusta, and we later learned it was the home of a local judicial leader. Authorities responded to Wheeler Road near Westminster School just before 6 this morning. They found a woman driver hit a parked car in a driveway. We learned it is the home of Richmond County Solicitor Amika Loggins. Deputies say the driver was taken to the hospital for treatment of her injury. That crash is still under investigation. In downtown Augusta, close to 1,000 bicyclists raced down the streets to the finish line. Here's Bria Smith.
It's the second time in 10 years the USA Cycling Championship has been held in Augusta. Nearly 900 cyclists have been competing all week, and Sunday marks the end of their race.
This is our second time being in Augusta. We came in 2018, so it's a beautiful city.
Cyclists have been riding through Fort Gordon and parts of downtown Augusta for the championship since Wednesday, August 23rd.
You had Fort Gordon that was close by for the road race. There was no interference. It was all well run, safe. I mean, you can't knock it.
Some participants have competed as cyclists for most of their lives and really appreciate the unity in the sport.
We were at Fort Gordon for 3 days, and so we stayed not far from Fort Gordon, and so it was just a really easy trip in, and we've been to dinner every night, and so yes, we've enjoyed being in Augusta.
Holt tells me people come from all over the country to not only compete, but also enjoy what the area has to offer.
The camaraderie. Okay, so right now they're fighting for places, but when they get done, they'll be talking to each other like they're best friends. And what did you do that felt good? What speed were you going? And so, yeah, it's a fight when you're in it, and it's when you're done, we're good friends.
Sward believes the culture of cycling is here to stay.
Now that communities are building pathways where they can ride safely, no cars, things of that nature, where people can walk with their kids, people can ride their bikes. So it's not going away, and it's good for your health.
I spoke with people supporting the racers, and they say they felt the setup here in Augusta has been the safest and most organized. In Augusta, Bria Smith, WJBF, News Channel 6.
Bria, thanks for that report. In Brunswick, Georgia, the family of Ahmaud Arbery started a new foundation in his honor. Now, Arbery was out jogging in Brunswick when he was shot and killed in February 2020. He was 25 years old. 3 white men were convicted of his murder in 2021. His family knew they wanted to do something to keep his memory alive and bring healing to the community, so they created a scholarship. Fundraising event took place yesterday, and that money raised by the family will provide scholarships and health services for those in need. Coming up, more showers to come. We'll join Jennifer Sharkey for your full forecast. Stay with us.
Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live Viper 6.
Good Sunday evening. I hope you had an awesome weekend. Hopefully you stayed cool. We had some very high temperatures this weekend, but luckily the rain is cooling us down a bit now. Here's the latest on Live Viper 6. Just a few showers and storms peppered about. Some severe thunderstorm warnings just to our west, and earlier today we had some gusty winds as well up in Lincolnton, McCormick County. Right now, though, just some light rain, no longer a concern of severe weather. Some very heavy rainfall, though, in Saluda County. There's downtown Saluda. This is more so into Newberry County, where there's an aerial flood advisory, and then down in Berg County, just some very light showers and storms as well. Nothing very strong. Our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam outside the station showing some pretty cloudy skies, though. We're at 81 degrees, so definitely a little bit cooler from the rain today. Feels like 86 with the dew point still in the mid-70s. Temperatures are all over the place, though. 77 in Lincolnton, 79 in Thompson, 93 still in in Waynesboro, 92 in Sylvania. So pretty much all those low 90s still in those southern line counties where they've stayed rain-free today. And that means the heat index is still very high as well. Seeing the triple-digit heat index values in Barnwell, Bamberg, 106, 102 in Sylvania. But then up towards the north, especially north of I-20, not feeling bad at all. The rain today is due to the stationary front. This will continue to linger in our area over the next couple of days, bringing us the chance of a few more storms this evening and tomorrow as well. Can't rule out some strong to severe thunderstorms, but all our focus this week is on the tropics. So we have what is now Tropical Storm Idalia down just off the coast of Cancun. We also have Hurricane Franklin, which is now a Category 2 storm. So I want to start out with Franklin because no worries here. It does look like it's just outside our area, but this will be continuing to stay out in the open Atlantic. So no threat to the United States just around Bermuda. Now back to Idalia though, this could be a different scenario. This could definitely bring us some impacts as we go into Tuesday night all the way through Wednesday. As of the 5 o'clock advisory, Idalia, as I mentioned, off the coast of Cancun with winds at 40 miles per hour, and it will continue to strengthen pretty significantly as it travels across the Gulf of Mexico. Here's the latest track. So anywhere from, say, Panama City Beach all the way down into Tampa around the Big Bend of Florida is where Idalia could be making landfall early Wednesday morning as a Category 2 hurricane. Then there's a bunch of different possibilities here. So notice this cone of uncertainty means that the center of Idalia could travel anywhere as far west as Macon over, say, Savannah, or as far east is out into the open Atlantic. So what we want to happen is for Idalia to stay out in the open Atlantic. However, most of the consensus with the models here is showing more so it's staying right along the coastline, which would still give us some impact. So here's the look at the possibility of the different tracks. Once again, that westward track centering it over Macon, that would be a bad situation for parts of Georgia. Flooding concerns, multiple tornadoes, damaging wind gusts. The center track, which is the most likely one, means some heavy rain, isolated tornado threat, meaning just one or two, and some gusty winds, maybe not necessarily damaging. The eastward track, little to no impact. So of course that's what we want to see. The spaghetti model plots with Idalia pretty much have that consensus of it going right over the coastline, Savannah, Charleston, for example. So as we look at those wind probabilities, still a very low chance here that we could have tropical storm force winds across Georgia. Definitely a higher chance for the southern lying portion of Georgia and down into Florida. But for us, pretty low chance of that for now, but we'll keep you updated, of course. Now for our future cast with Idalia, this is Tuesday at 6 p.m. Keep in mind we still have that front across our area as well. So that'll bring us those showers and storms Monday and Tuesday, but then much more rain moving in on Wednesday. This is when it'll be making landfall right along the Big Bend of Florida, traveling up across Georgia. And this particular model is showing a lot of rainfall. This is Wednesday at 2 p.m. The entire CSRA covered with that rain. By 11 o'clock, still dealing with that heavy rain and gusty winds across Columbia and the Midlands. And at this point, still a tropical storm likely, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So that would be some pretty strong winds still right across the inland areas there. Now, once Idalia passes, though, the good news is that we will get some cooler temperatures. We'll still be in the low 90s tomorrow and Wednesday or Tuesday, still very humid. And then we'll be in the low 80s as we go into the middle of the week and into our Labor Day weekend. Our lows tonight will be in the low 70s, a few showers overnight, highs tomorrow in the upper 80s to low 90s. And your 10-day forecast showing the Viper 6 alert days Tuesday and Wednesday as we track Tropical Storm Idalia, and then plenty of sunshine and cooler temperatures into the weekend.
All right, thanks, Jenna. We know that the weather team will stay on top of this.
Yes, of course.
All right, thanks, Jenna. Coming up, the latest on a deadly military helicopter crash. We have those details when we come back.
Sure.
A U.S. military Osprey aircraft crashed on a remote Australian island, killed at least 3 Marines and severely injured several others. 23 U.S. Marines were on board, participating in a joint exercise between the U.S., Australia, and other Asian countries. Here's Faith Abube.
The U.S. Marine Corps has confirmed some of their personnel died in an Osprey aircraft crash on a remote Australian island on Sunday. The military aircraft carrying 23 service members during a training exercise. It was in support of an operation between the U.S., Australia, and 3 other Southeast Asian countries when it went down on one of the Tui Islands in northern Australia.
2 US Marine Osprey aircraft left Darwin and flew to the Tui Islands, 80 kilometres to the north of Darwin. After 9 a.m, our Joint Communications Centre received reports of an aircraft crashing on Melville Island.
Other Marines on board the Osprey severely injured. Australian Emergency Services helping with the recovery efforts and evacuating the injured to the city of Darwin, about 50 miles away.
We have stood up a number of systems in the Northern Territory to respond to this incident. We are well resourced and well practiced in the Northern Territory in responding to emergencies.
Australia's Prime Minister promising his government support.
Our focus as a government and as the Department of Defence is very much on incident response and on making sure that every support and assistance is given at this difficult time.
Only U.S. service members were injured in the crash. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
Coming up, we'll check in on the PGA Tour Championship, and the Braves look to get a sweep over the San Francisco Giants. Here is next.
Can you really count on your...
Everybody has a Labor Day sale.
So why is Weinberger's any different?
Because we have tons of quality Weinberger furniture at low prices.
That's right. I bought a lot of extra inventory this summer, and it needs to go at any price.
We have store-wide markdowns on our huge selection in all 3 locations.
Get great quality, name brand furniture at huge discounts now through Labor Day.
Get the best prices on Weinberger's furniture this Labor Day, in stock and ready for delivery.
WJBF sports coverage you can count on.
The Augusta Green Jackets took on the River Dogs on Sunday for the final game of their series, and they were looking to even up their season record against Charleston at 12-all. In the 24th game of the season against the River Dogs, Braun got the start on the mound, and he held Charleston scoreless until the 4th inning. But then in the 5th, down 1-0, the Green Jackets tried to respond, but they couldn't make anything happen offensively. They would try to get something going for the rest of the game, but it just wasn't happening for them. And Augusta gets shut out by Charleston 1-0 in their final matchup.
Now, WJBF sports coverage you can count on.
The Augusta Green Jackets took on the River Dogs on Sunday for the final game of their series, and they were looking to even up their season record against Charleston at 12-all. In the 24th game of the season against the River Dogs, Braun got the start on the mound, and he held Charleston scoreless until the 4th inning. But then in the 5th, down 1-0, the Green Jackets tried to respond, but they couldn't make anything happen offensively. They would try to get something going for the rest of the game, but it just wasn't happening for them. And Augusta gets shut out by Charleston 1-0 in their final matchup of the season. The Green Jackets will now host the Salem Red Sox starting on Tuesday for the final series at SRP Park for this year. Yesterday was Game 2 between the Braves and the Giants out in San Francisco. Top of the first, no score. Runner on for Matt Olson. He crushes one into right field off of the wall, and it kicks away. Austin Riley will come in to score, and that will give the Braves the early 1-0 lead. Then in the top of the third, Ronald Acuna Jr. leading off the second base. He's inching forward. He breaks for third, sliding in safe to beat the throw. That's Acuna's 59th stolen bag of the season, and it puts runners on the corners for the league leader in RBIs, Matt Olson. Then in the top of the 5th, score tied 2-all, Austin Riley crushes it to deep left field into the stands for the solo homer. That is Riley's 30th home run of the season, and it gives the Braves back the lead at 3-2. They would go on to take Game 2 7-3. So today, the Braves will look to earn the sweep in San Francisco with left-hander Jared Schuster getting the start on the mound for Atlanta. First pitch will be at 7:10 p.m., and I'll have highlights of that game tonight at 11 right here on News Channel 6. And finally, yesterday was the 3rd round of the PGA Tour Championship from East Lake, and Colin Morikawa and Victor Hovland started the day tied for the lead at 16 under, but they had very different days. Here's Morikawa's 3rd shot of the par 4 5th, chipping from the rough. He gets it all wrong, and it lands in the bunker. More problems for Morikawa. He would go on to double bogey on 5, putting him 2 strokes behind Hovland. Morikawa would then card 3 over on Saturday, not the day that he was expecting. Meanwhile, Victor Hovland with the 7-iron. Here's his 2nd shot on the 7th hole. From 160 yards out, he'll stick this uphill from the pin, close enough for him to sink the birdie and move to 18 under. Then after a 75-minute weather delay, Hovland putting for birdie on the 12th. It's good, and he improves to 19 under. 5 strokes ahead of 2nd place. Very next hole, putting for birdie again. He makes another long putt.
His short game was on point all around. He didn't leave any strokes on the table, and Victor Hovland comes in at 6 under on the day, 20 under on the tournament. He'll go into today's round with a 6-stroke lead over Xander Schauffele. So with that, let's take a look at our leaderboard. We have Victor Hovland, of course, at the top. He continued to play lights out and remains in first at 24 under after 3 straight birdies on the front 9. He's 5 shots ahead of Xander Schauffele at 19 under, and then behind them is Wyndham Clark at 14 under and Colin Morikawa at 13 under. Our local guy is former Bulldog Russell Henley, who finished the tournament at 9 under, but I do have to mention that Henley is the only golfer on the board to have finished his round. Our leaders are only through about 11 holes, so we'll have a final update on the winner as well as highlights when we return tonight at 11. That does it for sports. We'll be right back.
It's the road.
Oh, the Welsh Corgi took the spotlight this weekend in Lithuania. Dozens of the adorable pups showed up for a race in a park in the capital city of Vilnius. The event celebrates 700 years since the park was established. The Corgis were bred for herding livestock, and they're quite adept at running. They even started a few years ago. The event started just a few years ago, and it has grown every year.
That's so cute. I love their little legs.
That's the Queen's
That's
dogs,
the queen.
right?
Yeah, the queen. The queen was very famous for having corgis. They're so adorable with their big ears.
Yeah, one of my friends has a corgi, and it's the first time I've ever been around one, and they're so cute and really sweet.
Oh, Kayla.
Yep.
Yeah. I love her corgi.
Yes.
So cute.
Well, for our forecast this week, we are going to be hot again tomorrow, some scattered storms. Some of those could be strong to severe, but the weather really picks up Tuesday night into Wednesday. That's when we have Viper 6 alert days as we track Tropical Storm Idalia, soon to be Hurricane Idalia, as it is expected to make landfall in Florida and then head towards Georgia and South Carolina. After Idalia, though, we will cool down into Labor Day weekend. We'll see some 80s and plenty of sunshine.
So snuggle up with your corgi and watch out for the weather.
Yes, definitely.
We'll be back at 11.
We are tracking showers and storms and also Tropical Storm Idalia. I'll have all the details coming up.
Right now on News Channel 6 at 11, a man found dead in Clarks Hill Lake. The circumstances surrounding this discovery and an identity. Plus, what one Richmond County judicial leader woke up to this morning. And hundreds race to the finish line in a cycling championship. Your News at 11 starts right now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 11.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Renata Dubose, and thank you so much for joining us for News Channel 6 at 11. Coverage you can count on begins with an investigation into a man found dead in Clarks Hill Lake this morning. McDuffie County Coroner Paul Johnson says the man was found at Russell Landing at Big Heart Campground just after 11:30. He was found floating near the dock at a boat ramp in the water. Johnson says the man is 92-year-old Michael Allen Cole from Warrenton. We will continue to follow this developing story. A teenager died after a shooting in Rennes. The incident happened early Saturday morning on Washington Street. Authorities found 19-year-old Nakia Shields shot. She later died at the hospital. The GBI is investigating. Anyone with information should contact authorities. North Augusta Public Safety put a man in jail connected to a stolen vehicle and 2 armed robberies across the 2 states. An incident report says around 10 o'clock Saturday morning they found a stolen Ford Bronco on Georgia Avenue near East Buena Vista. After investigating, they learned the truck was involved in 2 armed robberies near Savannah, Georgia, and in South Carolina. Just before 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, Public Safety saw a suspicious man walking on Georgia Avenue near Medland Road. After a short chase, police arrested 43-year-old Jeremiah Sherrouse of Pooler, Georgia. He was taken to the Aiken County Detention Center. Authorities in Allendale need your help locating a homicide suspect. They are looking for 33-year-old Jonathan Kelly on your screen. He is suspected of killing Ronnie Crawford of Varnville, South Carolina. The Allendale Police Department has warrants on Kelly for homicide, kidnapping, possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Anyone with information on Kelly's location should contact authorities. And we can hear the rain here in the studio at Television Park. So meteorologist Jennifer Tracci is joining us now to tell us what is going on.
Yeah, it's absolutely pouring here, Renetta. Luckily, these storms are not severe, though. This is just a lot of heavy rain. In fact, it is leading to some flooding in certain parts of the CSRA. And we'll see a few storms as we go into the overnight hours. You can hear that thunder right now. A lot of lightning going on as well. But as I mentioned, not severe, just the heavy rain, thunder, and lightning. So here's the latest on Live Viper 6, the closer look around the metro. Heavy rain anywhere from Martinez all along I-20 and all the way down into southern Richmond County and over to the east into Aiken County. That's where we have an aerial flood advisory in effect. This goes until 12:45, so nearly 2 more hours left on this area here, covering much of Aiken County, including downtown. Highway 1, some very heavy rain with already up to 2.5 inches that have fallen over a short period of time. Earlier, we did have a flash flood warning down in Barnwell and Bamberg as well. Look at that lightning now on our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam outside the station. Very, very wet outside. If you're headed out late at night, definitely drive with a lot of caution and keep in mind that there could be some flooding, especially in low-lying and poor drainage areas. It was another hot and humid day, high of 94. A few degrees cooler than it had been over the past couple of days, though, so not too bad. Low of 73, only a quarter of an inch of rain picked up earlier today. Of course, we'll add to that total now, though. And right now, temperatures are in the 70s and some 80s still. 80 degrees in Wrightsville, 82 in Swainsboro, 74 in Aiken, 75 in Barnwell, and 77 up in Edgefield. Dew points are pretty high as well. We're in those low to mid 70s, a very muggy night with winds coming in from the southeast, 7 miles per hour in Augusta, 9 in Aiken, 6 in Barnwell. So pretty breezy around the areas with the storms. Now the rain today is due to this front stalling out across our area. This will continue to be here tomorrow and Tuesday, bringing us some more chances of rain. But we're also watching what's happening down in the tropics. We have, of course, Hurricane Franklin out in the Atlantic, and we also have Tropical Storm Idalia, which is at 60 mile per hour wind gusts right now and will continue to strengthen. And we have issued Viper 6 alert days for Tuesday and Wednesday due to possible impacts here in the CSRA from Idalia. I'll have all those details coming up. Back to you, Renetta.
Jenna, thanks. Close to 1,000 bicyclists raced through the streets of downtown Augusta to the finish line. Bria Smith has more.
It's the second time in 10 years the USA Cycling Championship has been held in Augusta. Nearly 900 cyclists have been competing all week, and Sunday marks the end of their race.
This is our second time being in Augusta. We came in 2018, so it's a beautiful city.
Cyclists have been riding through Fort Gordon and parts of downtown Augusta for the championship since Wednesday, August 23rd.
You had Fort Gordon that was close by for the road race. There was no interference. It was all well run, safe. I mean, you can't knock it.
Some participants have competed as cyclists for most of their lives and really appreciate the unity in the sport.
We were at Fort Gordon for 3 days, and so we stayed not far from Fort Gordon, and so it's just a really easy trip in, and we've been to dinner every night, and so yes, we've enjoyed being in Augusta.
Holt tells me people come from all over the country to not only compete but also enjoy what the area has to offer.
The camaraderie. Okay, so right now they're fighting for places, but when they get done, they'll be talking to each other like they're best friends. And what did you do that felt good? What speed were you going? And so yeah, it's a fight when you're in it, and it's when you're done, we're good friends.
Sward believes the culture of cycling is here to stay.
Now that communities are building pathways where they can ride safely, no cars, things of that nature, where people can walk with their kids, people can ride their bikes. So it's not going away, and it's good for your health.
I spoke with people supporting the racers, and they say they felt the setup here in Augusta has been the safest and most organized. In Augusta, Bria Smith, WJBF, News Channel 6.
Bria, thanks for that report. Richmond County Sheriff's Office responded to a crash in Augusta, and we later learned it was the home of a local judicial leader. Authorities responded to Wheeler Road near Westminster School just before 6 this morning. They found that the driver hit a parked car in a driveway. We learned it is the home of Richmond County Solicitor Omika Loggins. Deputies say the driver was taken to the hospital for treatment of her injuries.
I heard a boom, and I walked down the hallway, and that's when after she heard it, I stepped outside the door. I see there's a lady that has come across our yard, taking out shovel shrubs and trees, and put her car in the tree from the impact of the accident.
Now, Eric Loggins says he wants to pursue this matter further. The sheriff's office says it is still under investigation. Well, he's a leader in Augusta who has influenced people through ministry, counseling, and education. This week on Jenny, we talk with Jeff Pulliam about his career path, which has taken 3 distinct turns. We also talk about how he practices living with gratitude through an appreciation for the arts, his garden, and people.
So my goal, I think, is really just to practice a spirituality that is simply the presence of love, because that's where I believe God dwells.
Yeah.
And that there's no greater goal than to simply be kind.
Jeff Pulliam has a lot of life lessons to share, plus a look ahead to this season's Southern Soul and Song Festival with the director of the Morris Museum of Art, Kevin Grogan, Tuesday at 12:30 on Jenny. After the heated GOP debate last week, now a look into the path of Tropical Storm Idalia. We join Jennifer Tracci for your full forecast. Please stay with us.
How you shop. Everyone saves big. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The Live Viper 6 Skyview Network, sponsored by Terry Lambert Hyundai. Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live Viper 6.
Good Sunday evening. I hope you had a nice weekend. Hopefully you stayed cool and dry. Today we had some thunderstorms and they're really starting to pick up now. Live Viper 6 showing showers and storms anywhere from McCormick, Saluda, down into parts of Burke County, and it's Aiken County right now getting the worst of the rainfall. But let's start out with a look around downtown Augusta. We do have a new aerial flood advisory I'm seeing now. This must have just popped up. This will likely go until around 1 a.m. Notice the very heavy rain that's really not letting up right across town. I-20 Martinez getting some of that all the way down into Hepzibah and all of southern Richmond County and over into Aiken County. That's where we have an aerial flood advisory and also a flash flood warning now that just popped up. This goes until 2 a.m. and that's because rainfall totals have already reached 2.5 inches within just the past hour alone in parts of Aiken County, and more rainfall on the way. All of that activity in Richmond County will be moving over into Aiken. Right now, it's not exactly pouring at this moment on our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam, but very damp outside. And I was just going to say, I've been seeing plenty of lightning, and there it is. Lightning strikes are going crazy right now. Lots of thunder as well. We're hearing it at the studio. So definitely stay inside. I'm sure you're already in bed tonight and don't plan on going out anyway. But if you were planning on it, definitely stay away from any low-lying or poor drainage areas where there could definitely be some flooding. We're sitting at 75 degrees. Check out that wind. Wow, north-northwest, 24 miles per hour. Feeling like 75, dew point of 73 degrees. Temperatures anywhere from those low 70s all the way to the low 80s. A little bit warmer towards the south where they haven't had any rain. 82 in Swainsboro, 80 now in Millen. So it's this front that's stalling out across our area that's bringing waves of showers and storms, not only for today, but for our Monday and Tuesday as well. And then, of course, we'll have a changing forecast due to the tropics. So first off, we have Hurricane Franklin, Category 2 storm, out in the open Atlantic. Good news there. But all eyes are on Tropical Storm Idalia now. That is going to be impacting our forecast, and I'll have a lot on that coming up in just a moment. But starting out with your forecast tomorrow, will be mostly cloudy in the morning, reaching the low 90s later on in the afternoon, with a marginal risk of severe weather for pretty much everyone tomorrow. But the chance of storms is very low. Our rain chances will increase significantly, though, as we go into Wednesday, all due to Idalia. So right now, winds are at 60 miles per hour. It's just off the coast of Cancun, and it is strengthening rapidly, and it's going to continue to as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico. So the latest track as of the 11 p.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center showing Idalia making landfall in Florida around the Big Bend as a Category 2 storm, moving into Georgia, likely right off the coastline around Savannah and Charleston, still is a tropical storm, and that's what's going to bring us some impact. So it really depends on the track here. However, it does look like there's becoming more certainty that we're going to have more so this center or eastward track, which is good news. Less impacts the further east it goes. But worst case scenario, a lot of rainfall, more so just an inch in our northwest counties, but check out some of these rainfall totals towards the southeast of Augusta. Definitely some flooding threats. So notice the long-range futurecast showing Idalia making landfall in Florida, moving along the coastline, bringing us waves of rain. This is Wednesday afternoon. This continues all day long Wednesday, but then by Thursday, we start to clear out. We also cool off. Our temperatures will be dropping down into the 80s. That'll be really nice as we go into our Labor Day weekend. Check out that forecast. Plenty of sunshine. So definitely something to look forward to once we get past Idalia. So we have those Viper 6 alert days, Tuesday night into Wednesday. That's when rain chances go up drastically. And then, as I mentioned, back to sunshine and cooler temperatures to end the week.
Well, we certainly look forward to that. Thank you, Jenna.
Of course.
Coming up, a community mourns the victims of a deadly shooting in Jacksonville, Florida. Those details after the break. It is important to have a
service.
A community mourning the lives of 3 people killed at a Dollar General store in Jacksonville, Florida. Investigators say the shooting was racially motivated and that the guns used in the rampage were legally purchased. One of those guns had a white swastika painted on it. Here's Andrew Dimbert.
We shall overcome. The community coming together Sunday to remember the victims of Saturday's deadly shooting rampage at a Dollar General store in Jacksonville, Florida.
Persons who simply said, "I'm going to the store and I'll be right back," never left the store alive.
Authorities say the victims were killed because they were black.
I want to begin by honoring the 3 precious lives that were lost yesterday. Angela Michelle Carr, 52 years old. Anolt Joseph, or AJ Laguerre Jr., 19 years old. And Gerald Deshawn Gallion, 29 years old.
Police identified the gunman as 21-year-old Ryan Christopher Palmetter. Investigators say before the shooting, he was spotted at a historically black university, a security guard at Edwards Waters University engaging with him and forcing him to leave. Surveillance video outside the Dollar General captured the alleged shooter as he raised his weapon, firing 11 rounds, killing the first victim. He then walked inside wearing a tactical vest, armed with an AR-15 style rifle and a handgun. 2 more victims killed inside the store. At 1:18, 10 minutes into the shooting, the gunman allegedly texted his father telling his dad to check his computer.
Father enters the room and finds a last will and testament of the suspect along with a suicide note on his laptop.
By 1:53, the suspect's family called the Clay County Sheriff, but by then, the shooting rampage was over, the suspect dying by suicide at the scene. Police say Palmetter left behind several writings.
The rather liberal use of the N-word several times, it was clear that his crimes were motivated by wanting to shoot black people.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Coming up, we'll check in on the PGA Tour Championship, and the Braves look to get a sweep over the San Francisco Giants. Here's next.
Drive your dreams. You to join our team. We're looking for talented applicants in a variety of fields. To see a current list of job openings, visit WJBF.com/work for 6. Join our team today.
Now, WJBF sports coverage you can count on.
The Augusta Green Jackets took on the River Dogs on Sunday for the final game of their series, and they were looking to even up their season record against Charleston at 12 all. In the 24th game of the season against the River Dogs, Lucas Braun got the start on the mound, and he held Charleston scoreless until the 4th inning. Then in the 5th, down 1-0, the Green Jackets tried to respond, but they couldn't make anything happen offensively. They would keep trying to get something going for the rest of the game, but it just wasn't happening, and Augusta gets shut out by Charleston 1-0 in their final matchup of the season. The Green Jackets will now host the Salem Red Sox starting on Tuesday for the final series at SRP Park for the year. Over in the MLB, the Braves taking on the Giants for Game 3. Top of the 5th, the Braves lead 3-2 with 1 out. Runners on 2nd and 3rd for Ronald Acuna Jr. He grounds it to J.D. Davis, who flips it to Scott Alexander. Alexander flips it to Tyro Estrada for the out. At first, Estrada throws home, and Orlando Arcia slides in. He's called safe, but after a Giants challenge, the umpires reversed the call. Patrick Bailey made the tag, and the Braves lead 3-2. Then in the top of the 6th, 6-3, Marcell Ozuna up with a runner on 2nd. He crushes it to deep left field. That's gone for a home run. There's Arcia showing us on the bat where Ozuna crushed the home run. He actually hit it a little bit lower on the barrel, but he still got all of it. The Giants still lead 6-5, and they would go on to get the win 8-5 to avoid the sweep. And over on the Tour Championship at East Lake in Atlanta, that came to a close on Sunday and headed into the final round. Victor Hovland held a 6-stroke lead. We'll start at the beginning with Hovland. Here's his putt for birdie. A great read from Hovland as he sinks it to start the round off strong. Unfortunately, that's all that he would play before the weather came in. The horn would blow at 1:57 to suspend play, and there would be almost 2 hours of weather delay. So Hovland would have to put his game on hold, but when play returned, he picked up right where he left off. Here he is on 174 yards out. Hovland almost dunks it in on the fly, but it rolls out to 5 feet. What a shot from Hovland as he birdies the hole to move to 22 under. Now there's the man chasing Hovland, Xander Schauffele. Here's a birdie look on 12. He sinks it with Victor Hovland watching. The lead now at just 3. Then on 14, the tables turn with Schauffele watching Hovland as he lines up a par putt. He reads this one nicely, and it falls into the cup from 23 feet away. The longest putt he's made all week. A big save from Hovland, and the lead remains at 3. But by the 17th hole, Hovland has a 4-stroke lead and is looking to grow it. On 17 green, here he has another birdie look. He'll step up and sink it to head over to 18 with a 5-stroke lead at 26 under. And then on 18, Hovland really has it in the bag. Fittingly, he finishes with a birdie to move to 27 under and record a final 72-hole score of 261. The second lowest score in Tour Championship history. And after the tournament, he had very kind words for the patrons in attendance about his game and how much their support meant to him.
Just all the hard work that I've done, and just the team that's helped me every single week, and it's just pretty surreal to be standing here right now. Played basically my best golf the last 2 weeks, and couldn't have happened at a better moment. In front of all these people, so just want to appreciate y'all for being here and being awesome, so thank you guys.
Victor Hovland is the 2023 Tour champion and FedEx Cup winner. A very big congratulations to him. That does it for sports. Renetta, back to you.
Karen, thanks. Coming up, a TikTok sparks a debate about controversial grocery shopping practices. Those details coming up.
Your accent was visible.
I also opened this in store. I'm sorry, I was so hungry.
Well, this lifestyle influencer posted this clip of her ringing up an empty container with the caption saying, "Opening food is a normal thing at the grocery store." But she was met with mixed reactions, with some people saying they snack at the store and others saying they would never do that. What would you guys do?
Always done that. I do that all the time. Every single time I go to the grocery store, I usually walk up and it's like sushi or something where I'm like, sorry, I ate this. And they're like, that's okay. I've always done that.
I would never.
You would never?
No. I'd say it's normal because if you're going to buy it, I mean, you might as well dig in.
Yeah.
I've done it with drinks before, you know, you get thirsty,
for sure,
you grab a drink, but I've never done it with like sushi. That's kind of extreme.
Okay,
but
Megan's done it.
I'm in between. Okay, but let's get back to the forecast now. You can still hear the thunder thunder and heavy rain here at the station. It is absolutely pouring in around half the CSRA, including some pretty populated areas, all of Richmond County, Aiken County, under some flood alerts at this time. First off, we have an aerial flood advisory that goes until 1:15 a.m. for Richmond and a portion of Columbia County, and then to the east, a flash flood warning and an aerial flood advisory until 2 a.m. for Aiken County. Notice that line of showers and storms over Augusta now will be pushing off towards the east into Aiken County. And then after all of that, we'll still see a few more storms tomorrow, followed by Viper 6 alert days Tuesday and Wednesday as we track Tropical Storm Idalia.
All right, download the weather app. Make sure you follow us.
Good time for the weather app.
Be sure to join our crew for Good Morning Augusta. Have a good night.